7.5, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting has been posted. Okay, then we do a roll call, and I'll just read off the screen. I'm here,
Okay.
Tara's here, Arnold Schmidt,
He's here.
Easy, it says it's
I'm here.
double Perez, but we'll go with Easy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Jessica Johnson,
Here.
Justin Coins is here, he's the intern. Maria Santiago,
Here.
Robin Sudan,
Here?
and Walter Andrews is here.
Here.
And all we're missing is Ted. I got everybody?
Yep.
I'm here.
Oh, Stan. Don't forget
How
Stan
come your name
Yarach.
doesn't show on this thing on the corner? Oh, because it's
Hover
longer-
your mouse over it.
It's a longer list than it showed. There's the other two at the bottom. Okay, that's good. Okay, so that takes care of that one. Tara, you have on the agenda, it says the annual reorganization of the Franklin Township Environmental Commission.
Paul,
You
before
do
you
that
go any
now?
farther, Paul, excuse me, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
right.
looking and there's a something from Ed Potasnik. It says he's stuck in non-panelist mode.
He's here.
And now he's here.
Bumped him up.
There he
Yeah.
is.
Oh, he's up, no, in the middle. I see Ed. Ed, you're gonna be our permanent liaison?
That is correct. Great to be here. Thanks.
Good, I'm glad you're here. I think you're gonna be a great contributor to the commission.
Ed, do you have any background in the environmental area?
This guy, no way.
He's really an education guy. What does he know of environment?
Yeah, I heard he was a chemist or something.
What do
would be
you,
the
really
best.
good stuff.
Very
Hey,
comical.
Paul, what about the minutes? Are they-
I said Ted was gonna take those, but he doesn't seem to be on.
Yeah, he's working on it still, so
Oh,
we'll,
somebody volunteer, or can I could, well, roll call's okay. I guess we get started.
I can like keep the minutes for now
Okay.
and then we can see how it goes. I'll just, cause I
Okay.
take notes anyway, so that's not a big deal.
That's perfect. That'd be perfect. Thanks, Tara.
Yeah, no problem.
What we have on the first agenda, the public thing is after we go through the first things, okay.
Right.
So this is the reorganization of the Franklin Township Environmental Commission. Main thing we need now is a vice chair.
Yes.
So I know at well, two things. One, I don't know if I have the most recent rendition of the minutes from our last meeting, but the one that I received, and it's the one from Ted, didn't say anything about the reorg at our last meeting where we elected Paul. So, I guess we'll get to the minutes later on, but I don't know if that says it in any updated version. As
I don't
far
think-
as the vice chair is concerned, I know we started to work on that at our last meeting. And I believe that Jessica nominated Robin and Robin wasn't at the meeting. And then I also brought up that historically, the person who had been chair became vice chair afterwards for a couple of reasons. Historically, this is just the way it's been, and that it's really an honorary position to begin with, but it's also to help the new chair with any protocols or anything to ease into the position, and also in case the chair can't make a meeting, then the vice chair could jump right in because they've already chaired the meetings before. I mean, this isn't anything against Robin being vice chair or even chair someday, but I'm just saying this is historically the way it's been.
That's a nice solution. Every organization I've been, it's the opposite. The vice chair works their way up the chairs to become the
Yes.
chair.
Yeah, you're right, Robin. Usually that's the way it is, but
But
for
with
whatever
all the
reason,
particularities of government and the requirements, I think that makes a lot of sense. So I'd be happy to I make a motion that Walter be our vice chair, if Walter would accept the position if so offered.
I think we could let Walter say something.
Yeah, I would. I'd be glad to.
Okay, easily solved then.
Do we
Easily
have
solved.
more candidates so that we can vote?
Sure. You want to nominate somebody, Stan? You can.
I want to nominate Robin.
Well, unfortunately, Robin is an alternate member. I'm not a regular member, so I don't think.
No,
that would work.
that's a glitch.
Yeah.
I know that, but it's too complicated to fix it. So why don't I just take a pass for now,
Okay.
and we'll see how things unfold going forward.
The word from Robin is gracious. You really are in this opportunity.
Well, I will second the motion for Walter. I thought I was going to first it, but somebody jumped in, and yes, I will second the motion for Walter to be vice chair.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, who made the motion? I thought you did the motion.
I
I
did.
thought I
I
was
did.
doing
Robin
that
did.
also, but
Okay.
somebody
Robin.
else said it, so.
Robin, I think Robin nominated Walter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Robin did in her
Okay.
graciousness.
Okay.
Integration. Okay, sounds good. Got it.
Are there any other nominations from the floor, from the commission? Seeing none, all in favor of this nomination, say aye.
I,
I guess I
Any
vote.
nays? No nays? Walter, you're now the vice chair.
Congratulations.
you.
Walter.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Quick
I don't
question,
know.
how do we get
I don't know if there's anything else on the reorganization.
Do
How do-
you, I guess the question I had is, do you guys have a secretary or I know, Dr. Chase was taking minutes previously, but I don't know if, was he the
did-
secretary or?
I corresponded with Ted actually earlier and this afternoon. And he said he'd like to take the minutes. I told him, when I took the minutes, I could never do as well as Ted. And,
Okay.
Just
I don't
so
think
you
anybody
know.
could.
anybody could, nobody could. So Ted said he'd take the minutes. He's obviously having some problems or
No,
something
he's
came
on
up
the
that he
line.
couldn't get here yet.
He's on the line. Tara, he's the 732 number, I think. He dialed in because he was
Oh.
having trouble with the computer. So if you unmute him, you might hear his.
Okay, I have a 609 number here. I don't see a oh
Maybe
wait,
it's
it's
609.
609.
The
Okay.
person called in, I think, without a name.
Oh,
Ted, is that you? Oh, wait, I
you guys
see.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you,
Okay.
Jess.
There's a couple times I tried to ask a question and yeah, it didn't seem like anyone could. So
okay.
I would like to know how we can correct the fact that Robin is still after this is her third term now?
Well, third year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a mistake that
Yeah,
she's an
but
alternate.
Ted explained that because he was no longer a councilman, at the reorg meeting in January, he didn't pick up on it. And I think what happened previously when Easy was brought on, that's when I should have moved up, Maria moved up, and then Easy come behind us. It just didn't happen, but I think we all learned from this, so I'm okay to let it ride.
Somebody's got a drum going somewhere. Okay.
That's a really
Yeah, Robin, I wrote a letter to Anne Marie also stating that you should be but it was all done after that.
We'll get it fixed next time. And now we have Ted.
Right.
Hello, Ted.
I just want to say again, if it can be fixed going forward even now, I'm happy to do whatever has to be administratively. Just let me know that can be done. I'm happy to get it fixed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Easy. I don't know that we need any more environmental reorganizations. I think we've completed that step.
Yep.
Okay. So I actually did write out some words. Or
Ted, you
the
are on
chairman
mute
remarks.
if you're
Ted, you're
trying to
muted.
speak.
Who's
Ted, you're
trying to
muted.
speak?
Ted.
Ted.
Why don't we unmute Ted?
Now,
Hi, Ted.
Ted,
Hey, technically, Paul should have been elected at this meeting. I mean, sure, the decision was made at the last meeting, but technically the appointment, I can just whir over it in the minutes and say that
I thought the mayor didn't it was a resolution of the town council.
that's right. Yeah, is actually appointed by the mayor. True.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it was on a separate sheet. I couldn't find it. Tara found it.
That was one of our issues, that we didn't like that it was an appointment and we thought we should have a more democratic process and more autonomy as a commission.
Yeah,
Yeah, but sadly, the enabling legislation for environmental commissions throughout the state
Yeah.
says that the mayor appoints.
yeah, it's a state, we are state regulated. It's different from
But
a committee.
but
like
it
the Open
looks
Space
like
Committee.
mayor appoints by recommendation from us. So I think
Yes.
that's what happened.
But there's no formal way for us to submit our recommendation, so we just need to remember in December to come up with it and send it to the
Yeah.
mayor.
Well, and he can ignore it, but let's hope that, I guess
Right.
we'll worry about that if it happens.
And
Ask me,
as
and
we said, it doesn't mean anything in the workings of the commission, because we all feel that everybody is the same.
If he ignores us, we'll just storm the Capitol on January 6th.
No.
No, I'm down for that, so.
Or we can write fake electoral letters.
Fake ones.
Big ones. Okay, I'm going to make a few comments. First, I want to express the feelings of the entire commission in thanking Walter for his devotion and leadership of the commission. He's led us with wisdom and vision. I am really glad he will stay on the commission. His experience and knowledge will be needed. Second, I want to welcome Ted as a commissioner. His knowledge and expertise are unrivaled. As a member of the planning board as well, we gain further knowledge and access to the planning board direction. To our new intern, Justin, welcome. I hope your time with us will be a great learning experience, as well as being a great help to all of us on the commission. We have several areas where you can contribute. One more thing, well, I got a couple more things, but they're quick. Robin, I want to mention the recycled bags that you gave me, about 100 we counted out. I have about 25 left.
Okay,
I gave out a whole series at the Franklin Food Bank Drive here in Canal Walk. And then I gave out more at the Souls for Souls Drive to get shoes to people. And I've been giving out a few here and there. So I would recommend that if people have on the commission, if we each get some bags and distribute them to other organizations that you might work with, like the Women's Club for Franklin, I know that Walter's was involved with, and some of these others, we'll get the bags out. And
yeah,
that,
because there are a lot more bags at town hall. I have maybe 50 left at my house.
okay.
And we can print more of the flyers.
Yeah, I have flyers too. I have a bunch of the flyers.
So just speak up, anybody, if you want,
Okay.
you've got an opportunity to distribute bags and flyers, we'll put the pieces together.
Good. Everybody likes them that I've given out. They're nice and big. And of course, you got the logo on of the township.
And the plastics ban is 3 months away.
Yep. Yep.
Where in town hall do you pick them up?
Tara would know that.
We can arrange it so that you can either pick them up right at the front, or if you want me to go in and get them and drop them off, I can do that. There's no, it's whatever is easiest for everyone, especially with everything going on,
Yeah. So, so good. That's, I want to get that thing. There's a, good.
Maybe I should be proactive. I don't have the bags in my possession. I assume that I'll get an okay from the Franklin Women's Club very soon.
I know where you
We're
live.
talking about at least 40 bags. So how do I access those?
We'll get you 40 bags. That's not going to be hard. Robin, how many you have left?
I'm guessing there's about 50 in that box. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
okay. And I've got about 20 here. So maybe
Why
25.
don't we meet for coffee under the sunshine law if only 3 of us meet?
Right.
We could do a bag
We can do that.
exchange.
Yeah. I know where
Okay.
Walter lives. I've been there.
All right, Paul, you organize it. I'll show up.
Very
with
good.
my bags.
The next thing I wanted to mention is this community energy plan grant application. We've gotten emails on that, and it seems like that might be something we want to apply for. Tara, have you looked at that one?
That is the energy, let me get the exact name of it. I think we're talking about it on tonight's agenda, but let me just
Yeah.
double check the name.
That's
Community-
January 27th at Thursday between 10 and 11. And
There's-
one of the participants, Tara, Robin, Juanita Henson
Yeah,
from the Chamber of Commerce. She's
Okay.
part of that group that's going to be presenting.
well, is this the same thing you already did, Tara? You
I
did a
think it's
webinar.
the same thing because I went to a webinar for it a few weeks ago. Yes, I think it's the same thing. So we'll discuss it. It's on the agenda for tonight to
Okay,
look
good,
up, but I
good.
think it's the same ones.
right? And just one more thing I want to mention that I'm going to be doing. I signed up, Washour Electric is going to be running a series of webinars that they always did. And I used to be a speaker also, accredited by the state to give talks to electrical contractors that need to get CUs to keep their license up. And they're doing this one in March on how EV chargers work.
Hmm.
So they accepted me as a guest, so I don't have to pay the $100.
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna attend it. It's an evening at 5:30 to 9. So far it's listed as live, but the February ones, they went virtual. So I'm not gonna, I'll see what happens. It's for the end of March. But,
I
and
hope
that'll
it's
be
good turnout.
it's off Home News Road, off
Mhm.
Veronica is
Great.
where one is. So that's,
Paul,
yes,
what is the organization that is doing it?
Washour Electric. They're a distributor for electric chargers, for Generac generators, for light bulbs and
Mhm.
such.
So they have a kind of a workshop on how to install charging station
How
or
they work.
how they
And I
work?
presume then it's gonna be how you install them, because,
And the audience is electricians.
yeah, the audience of that are electrical contractors. I'm a customer of theirs, because our Temple and Canal Walk, we're thinking about getting,
I'm
pump.
curious how
charging.
they
Hmm?
teach it.
It's Warshauer.
Yeah, but it's only for it's a paid
Yeah,
invite, right?
they pay because they're getting CEUs toward their licenses.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't need a license. I mean, I had a license as a wastewater treatment plant operator, but I never got an electrical contract license. So, and I'm not a contractor. So
Mhm.
they accepting me as a guest.
But you
I
can
just said
report
to
back to us.
the sales rep that I work with.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
thought it sounded like something we should know.
Yes.
So that's my opening remarks. If anybody has any other comments, we can go to the approval of the minutes.
Oh, no, one quick thing.
Sure.
Did anyone see in the paper that the Senate, I guess, approved a law that what we call packing peanuts will not
Oh,
be
yeah.
produced for the next
Yeah,
2
you're
years?
right. I did see that.
Yeah, and I suppose that's going to enhance the plastic law in any way, but I thought that was interesting. That came up real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that just happened this week or last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Danielson, I think he put out a list of bills that have been passed, or maybe it was Anjek.
Ah,
Very good. So now, the minutes from last meeting. We need approval of the minutes from the December 20th meeting.
so moved.
A
We need a
second.
second.
Robin seconds.
Any comments on the minutes? Any edits? If not,
Yeah, the comment that I made previously,
yeah,
and apparently from the comment that Ted made earlier, that maybe he did it on purpose, leaving out that we made, elected you as chair, Paul,
right.
at our last meeting, and it's not mentioned in the minutes. We elected you, as a contingency to make the recommendation to the mayor, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the wording, I think that we had to follow. That it was it's the recommendation, because as Tara pointed out, or Robin, the state law doesn't allow us to actually elect the commissioner, the chairman. It has to be appointed by the mayor.
I
So
think
what Ted wrote, I think, was probably in accord with the regulation.
we accept the mayor's.
We accept, yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it. We accept the mayor's
Appointee.
appointing, yes.
Also, in the second paragraph, in the chair report, in the second paragraph,
Right?
it says Tara has tabulated some projects, submit your thoughts, and then it says he sent an email about Japanese gift wrapping. I think
Oh,
that was Jessica. but I'm not
No,
sure who.
Walter started it.
Walter,
Walter, the chair, started it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then the he is referring to Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's under the chair's report.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, I think with that discussion, we should have a vote on the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Minutes are accepted.
okay, I'll send a version with mention of the recommendation of Paul to the mayor.
Okay. I think that'll solve that. Now we open the minute to public, and I think there were some people. Last I saw, there were four.
So we approved which minutes?
The minutes of this December 20th
20th.
meeting.
20th, okay.
That was the last meeting we had.
I know. I just couldn't find the paragraph of Tara and the gifts. Oh, here. Okay. Fine. Okay. Sorry, confusion.
Uh,
All
Tara,
right.
I guess we need a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved by Robin.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Tara, you're hosting. Can you, I
Yep.
think there was four last time.
There's
Uh,
2 right now. So we
two.
have, I'm gonna unmute Eric Dutoud. Are you on?
Yes, good evening. I just wanted to start with introducing myself. So Eric Duto, I live in Greekstown on the Canal Road, and it's my first time attending one of your meetings. So I wanted to start by thanking you for all the hours that you spend with the commission. I just realized that it was like twice a month and 2 hours every time. That's a lot of time to take away from your other activities. So thank you a lot.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Then looking at the website that you have set up, I mean, first, that's a great framework, but also I like quite a tons of questions. So I'm just going to maybe focus on 2 of them, and if you have time, we can go over some others. The first one is about the annual report. So I was like looking to I was looking to see what activities you have had in the last couple of years, and basically there is nothing since 2018. So that would be my first question. Do you expect to have basically an annual report for 2021, and you expect to fill back the past years?
Yes, I'll answer that. Yeah,
Okay,
that
Walter.
would be my responsibility, and I am working on backfilling those reports up to the end of 21. So I believe there's 21, 20, and 19, I believe, that are not complete or not posted. I have the 19 in draft, and then when we went virtual, that sort of changed things a bit, and the focus of my doing so. But my responsibility is to get those done, and I would expect probably within the next 30 days they should be out. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
Great, thank you. That's appreciated. Another question was, I've seen that in the past you have had like April cleanups. So it's like 3 months from now. So I was wondering if you're looking to have an event this year. I mean, I understand that with the pandemic, it made everything a little bit more complicated, but that's an open question on the
I think
cleanup.
it's on our agenda a little further on. So if you can stick with us, you'll hear us talk about it.
We have already set up a date. So
And yeah, it's not listed as a,
It's under the project report. If you looked at the
Oh.
project report that Tara put together, it's on there.
right. You're right. We usually do try to focus around Earth Day, which is why we pick April. And we've done that all these years. We've done the cleanup there, in that time period,
April 9th.
April 9th, okay?
Great, and I mean, on that I have like other question, but whether maybe I didn't want to like hug the mic. And the only thing I wanted to say is, if you're looking for like volunteers, for example, for the cleanup this year, feel free to reach out. I think when I signed up for the meeting, I left my my email address, so that would be easy. But if you're looking for like some hands and some eyes,
Absolutely, we would
I'll be-
appreciate it. I'm not sure I have access to that contact information.
Tara can send it to you, Stan, right, Tara?
I
You
Tara,
got
can,
his
yeah.
email address?
If you
Hmm?
want to put your email address in the, do you have access to the chat?
I do. Let me
Okay,
just do
if you
that.
want to just put it right there in the chat and you want, you can send it to me if you want. I will make sure they get it. Yep.
All right. It should be there.
Very
Thank you
good.
so much.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
please,
Thank you.
thank you for your work.
if you
Thank
can
you.
stick around a little bit more, we open it up for public comment at the end too. So feel free to, if you
I
can
will.
endure the agenda, hang in there with us.
All right. Okay, and we have Bill Bowman. Hi, Bill.
Oh, how are you? I have nothing. Thanks very much.
All right. And that is it.
Okay, so that takes, it's on, then we close the public comment period.
Motion to close for the public comments.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public comment period, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Nays. The public comment period is closed. Now we look at correspondence, website, email, social media. Jessica, is that you?
Yep. So Gina Viasis has written again from solarlandscape.com. I believe Ted, this had gotten this was sent to you, correct?
Pardon, which?
This was the Gina at solarlandscape.com. She had sent us that schematic showing some of the work she had done in other townships in terms of their community solar projects.
And we talked about possibly having her come to a meeting and fill us in. Yeah.
So I believe the last move was it was forwarded to Ted. No?
If so, I've forgotten about it.
Well, why don't we
A
put
month
it under
ago.
our project list when we get to that with Tara? Because we did agree at the last meeting, it would
Yeah.
probably be a good idea. We could learn from her.
Yeah, she has come to us with work she's done in Westfield now. So yeah, it's an opportunity. So all right, so we'll add it to the project list then. That was the only email we received. So
Okay.
I don't necessarily have a social media idea for this go. Does anyone else?
I don't.
No,
Well-
we're on Facebook at this point? Are we on Facebook, Jessica?
It's
Well, the
Facebook.
town.
Yeah,
the town is on.
it's the
The town is on.
township's
Why don't
account.
why don't we put the cleanup date out there? You know, our member of the public, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, brings up a good point. So we can start to promote that.
Yeah,
Really to,
That's true. It's becoming slowly
yeah, 9 or 10
February,
weeks
so
away.
yeah, let me put this together.
okay. That'll be good.
Yeah, I
You send
normally
it to
do it.
Tara, Stan. I tried to send it directly to Bob McQueen, and he quickly said that he will not accept anything unless it's from Tara. So
And I think we could also post that we are underway to participate in the Adopt a Drain program. The pieces are not finalized yet, but they will be. And, you know, stay tuned for a way you can help the town deal with huge amounts of stormwater right in your own street.
Mm.
Tara, could you put something together for that? Just real brief.
I could, yeah, let me just double check where exactly we are on that just before I put anything out, but yeah, I can absolutely do that.
At least it shows we're doing something.
Yeah. Stan, do you want me to put together like a flyer for the cleanup and show it to you?
Well,
or-
I typically do it, but you know, the blurb on the Adopt a Drain program, is it supposed to be part of the announcement for the?
I think we can
for the
just
street
say it's
cleanup?
coming because reading Tara's project list, there are other steps that have to happen. But I think if we just tell people this is something that's in the works, stay tuned.
Mhm.
And if you don't have a flyer yet for the April cleanup, we could just say save the date.
Save the date, yeah.
No, I make the flyer. That's easier, you know, because
Okay.
Yeah.
we have the date. We know who are the partners. We know all the instructions, so that's all set. What we don't know is much about the Adopt a Drain program. So
But I think if we just wet people's whistle with, this is something we're working
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Stan,
I'll draft something and I'll send it to you, Tara.
Okay.
Stan, have you been in contact with the Department of Public Works yet to lock in that date for us? Because they usually come to pick up stuff.
Yeah, they don't need early notice like that.
Okay,
They come at any date that we tell them. It's not a
Okay.
big deal. They are never a problem.
okay, good. Well,
Paul,
yeah, good. Stan?
I visited our mailbox in the municipal building today
Ah,
and picked up the mail. There's quite a bit there. I have been doing so all along, but what's particular about today is that, most of the mail are letters, certified letters from consultants and people like that. But there was one in there from the Harrison Tenants Association. I haven't had a chance to look at it. And also there was an application there from a Maureen and Edward Matson. They're requesting a variance. And they say here, the plan must be reviewed and submitted to the planning board by January 4th, 2022. But have we already done this electronically, or is this a duplication in any way? I don't remember it.
what was the plan?
For residential?
I think we didn't
yeah.
do that one. We did see it there, but we didn't actually review it because it was just for like it was like a garage or like a residential
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't, we are aware of it, but did not have like comment on it.
Okay, well, I do have the hard copy and with the maps, etc. But if we already have it, then we can work with that.
Mhm.
So that's all I have from the
Okay.
mailbox. Sir.
I guess, Walter, I'll have to get the key to the mailbox.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
When we get together with the subcommittee, we'll do that.
We can do all that at the same time.
Sure, perfect. Okay, so now we're on to the review of site plan applications. And there's actually 3 of them because one just popped up in this last week. But the JWH Real Estate Holding Corporation, does anybody have any comments about that one? Since we already looked at that one last meeting. Tara, you want to
Is-
make
is
any
that-
comments about that one?
Is that the warehouse? I do have some comments. So,
Okay.
Yep.
if we could pull up, Tara, do you want to share the screen and pull
Sure.
up those plans?
Yep.
And if you go all the way towards the bottom, well, first stop in your report. If you go to section 7, recommendations or comments, excuse me.
Yep. Oh, yep.
Yeah, go back there, and if you could make it a little bigger. Yeah,
Oh, that's what we want to send to Christine Woodbury, this section. This is a checklist.
right.
It's not the comments. The comments are lower. Here it is.
Under the comments, where it says stormwater runoff volume is not increased due to pre-existing conditions. Explain that to me, because if you're adding another 100,000 square feet on a piece that was grass, the grass had absorbent qualities, the roof doesn't. How are there pre-existing conditions?
So my understanding of reviewing it, I have to like get my bearings now on this. Let me
Sure.
just scroll down here for a sec. They are putting an addition, a portion onto that grass area, but I believe a portion of the existing is not going to be, or it's going to be reduced. Basically what it is, let me back up for a minute. I should have probably written that a little better. That was like probably came right out of my brain and I forgot to like make it into normal words. So the proposed changes are not creating either a 1/4 of an acre impervious coverage, an additional 1/4 of an acre impervious coverage, or an acre of disturbance, and therefore they're not considered a major application.
Would you go up to the top of this application?
Yep.
With the big page 1, where we talk about the number of square footage, or maybe that was, yeah, so there's 100,000 square feet being added.
Right. Small office, existing grass.
Isn't an acre 44,000 square feet?
Yeah, it's 40. Yeah.
Yes.
43, 624.
100,000 square feet is
Yes.
more than 2
The
acres.
2 acres, the 2.5
You're
acres.
right. You
That
are
is a
right about.
definition of major development. So I think they need low impact design. I think they need green infrastructure. And
Yes.
then, Tara, if you go, now stop, go back up one with all the, that one. As I understand it, the current building is the beige block almost
Yeah.
in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
As I look at the plan, the addition is going top right, a little bit north and east for the application. And that square that when you look at the photo, I think the subsequent slide, is that wetlands. That's that green that's sort of on the top right-hand corner. You
Right.
can see to the right, the big grass, that's wetlands. Are they putting 100,000 square feet smack on top of wetlands?
I don't think that's wetlands.
Well, according to that map, it is, so.
It should,
Yeah, that is from.
I think the one corner is a wetlands area which they avoided.
But if
It's
you look-
the upper left-hand corner is where the wetlands are.
But if you scroll down, go to the other map with the green on it.
Okay, hang on. Let me just make sure I don't pass it here.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, go up one. This
What
map
the
is
green
showing
represents.
the
The
green.
green is wetlands with 50-foot buffers.
Yes. So the wetlands is the part with the little blue tufts, and the 50-foot buffers is the surround.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And if you look on the following page, where the lawn is, that's exactly where that big square rectangle is. So I think there's some questions.
that's the wetlands. The
That's
stream.
the stream with the
That's the
50-foot buffer.
stream,
corridor.
but
Yeah.
that's different than this slide.
See,
'cause if
they're
you-
showing Randolph Road as wetlands.
You know what I'm wondering if what it is that the orientation of the site plan different than the orientation of this?
Well, north is north.
Oh,
no, it's,
same
I think
orient.
I think it's a different designation. What's the
Yeah.
columns on the side?
Maybe we could just go back to the engineering department and ask them to clarify planning and ask them to clarify for
So
us.
we have two maps and each of them says wetlands with 50 feet buffer.
Okay, hang on one sec here. So, okay, so here's the engineering drawings.
And
Okay.
bottom left is the existing building, I'm assuming. Is that right?
Bottom
Bottom
right.
left.
No,
Left.
Bottom left, it's
bottom
only
left,
portion of that building. It's kind of
Right.
grayed
Yeah.
out.
right.
This is, yeah, so this is where the existing building is.
Yes, that's my understanding. So, and
Right.
then a nice big 100,000 square feet square.
Right, and here's the wetlands with the 50-foot buffer here. Okay, so let me compare
So
now.
go to the next map. Not that one, the one above it. That
Yeah,
one.
I think this map's misleading.
Well, let's find out, because if this map is what they send in the application, they're
No,
clearly,
this is the map from the New Jersey Conservation Blueprint that I did just to see
Okay.
where the buffers extend for the wetlands.
so that's even better. So if this is coming from the state, let's go back to planning and say, are they putting this addition smack on top of that rectangle of wetlands?
So what's the difference between this map and the other one that shows a very narrow green stripe
That's a
around?
stream. That's a map of
Yeah.
streams.
So what's the difference?
Well,
This here is just showing the stream, and this stream has a designated 50-foot buffer, which is
Streams
the
have
Streams with
buffers,
green
and
area.
wetlands
Okay.
have buffers.
So wetland versus stream. Okay, understood.
Yep.
So I
I'm
think we
slow,
need to
but I
kick it.
got it.
Let's kick it back. We have some time
Yeah,
and say, we're really puzzled here.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
It must have something to do with how you
blow up that last one you just had.
pull down that wetlands green.
That
I
one.
mean, it includes Randolph Road, for
It
heaven's
includes,
Yeah.
it includes 3 different roads. Or
It does.
Yeah.
At least two different roads.
Well, it does,
in places that are already built on the other side of Randolph Road.
Right.
That's where the shopping center is.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't mean that wasn't
May
done
have been
correctly a long time
wetlands
ago.
at some time in the past, although I don't think so, because I
In
know
this,
field, what used to be a field on the other side of Randolph Road.
If you look all the way to the right, to the east, you see what would be considered a wetlands based on that color also, and that's also built over 2 roads.
Yeah,
but remember, roads were there a long time ago, and the wetlands areas, I'm assuming this is a current map. We have plenty of wet roads that flood. So let's not assume that a road can't be where a wetlands is. Take a look at South Middlebush Road, for goodness sake. So I think we just need more answers.
Yeah, I think if they show a map, they deliberately show the wetland and put the building there, something is wrong.
And
What
we
is-
need to ask about the 2 acres, because this building's 100,000 square feet. That more than meets the definition of the New Jersey stormwater management.
did you go back to their stormwater paragraph in the text? What does it say there?
Hang on one second here. I was just gonna try and see if they put their letter of interpretation up now. Okay, hold on. Gotta stop sharing for 1 minute and then reshare.
Okay,
Okay. Ugh, sorry, wrong button. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right, now you want to see the text for stormwater?
yeah,
All right, hold on. Let's see here. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on. Warehouse space, small existing grass, proposed structure will serve as warehouse, 70 new parking spaces, existing access points. Okay. All right. So, oh yeah, there's drainage modifications proposed, 3.34 acre swath of wetlands in north central, northwestern corner and western border of property. Proposed development. So their position is that they are not building in the wetlands.
it's just a stream buffer. That's what, there's a little jog in there in the where the warehouse is.
So
and
let's-
because they're edging it, yeah.
Let's make sure they're using the latest conservation maps from New Jersey. Maybe they're not.
Yeah. We can look at it, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And ask them to check the stormwater management regs.
Mhm.
100,000 square feet is major disturbance.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
And then after that, we could talk about trees. They're planting all these trees, but you had made the note, Tara, that they were not native species. If they're doubling the amount of trees, I think we should be able to say, please plant native species, non-invasive.
All right. I think that's good. Yep.
Yep. Was there a mention of the electric chargers too? Because they're gonna need
Yeah,
15.
so they are proposing 2 EV charging stations are proposed, and my calculation is that 3 are required, and that's on the low end. So
That's what I thought.
technically it should be 10.5 is what they're supposed to have. So I rounded down instead of up, so that makes them, so they're supposed to have 3. So they're 1 short, and 1 has to be done as part of the approval, and then they have, you know, the 6 years to put the others in
Right.
completely.
Well, 3 and 3, yeah.
So those are very valid
How many
comments.
parking spots do they have?
They are putting in
Is it 70?
70
No,
new 70 new spaces, and there's 81 existing spaces, and they're putting 70 new ones in.
Plus 26 new trailer spaces also.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so
the
then-
count is only on the new ones, I would guess.
so
Only
they
on the
need
new ones.
they need 11
Well,
charging
do we round up
stations
though or
and
down?
10.5.
0.5.
That's
Well,
11.
the only reason I rounded down is because I figured, I don't know what I really figured. I think I just was like, okay, it's not, there's not another parking space that brings it up. So, but yeah, you're right. So we could round up. We could round up to 11.
It's mathematically 10.5 rounds to 11.
Yeah.
Oh, let's
And
go
so
for it.
they need to have essentially 443. So
Yeah.
4 must be installed now, another 4 later, and 3 in 6
Yeah.
years.
I think
Look,
that's,
if they say 10, I'm not going to flag it, okay? But if they say 2, that's not enough.
Right. Right.
Because that's what they say, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
They didn't talk about the second or the third installment.
They didn't. So they have to have at least one more, really two more in the first installment if we round up to
Correct.
Yep.
11.
their engineering firm may not be paying attention to the new regs, so we'll bring it to their attention.
Yep. Okay.
And I just have a query, actually. I'm very curious to know why they're not investing in any solar panels. You know, if Robbins,
We didn't even get there.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think it wasn't
Yes.
mentioned. Then we talked about that that was one of the things I talked about, is that they should put solar on the roof. We don't have a reg to enforce it, so it's just a recommendation. But we always have been making the recommendation.
Well, at some point, I'd love to see us work for a living roof ordinance,
Yeah, yeah.
so that for these large roofs with 30 degrees or less pitch that require some combo of green and solar pool, something, because we just have so many warehouses. We're
Yeah.
we're missing the boat.
So Paul had made the comment that we should put solar panels on the roof, and then the comment I had made was for the cool roof because of the size of the roof. But if we can either put both comments in, or we could
Put
just go
both.
with the solar panels.
Add both.
We ask for both, a combination, just do something, make that
Right.
roof.
And I usually also make the comment that it would be good if they would dedicate some of the power generated to the climate change grant program, where they get some money and the power is dedicated to the affordable housing folks.
Okay. What's the name of it? I'm sorry, Paul.
The community grant, it's part of the community
Community
grant.
solar?
Community
Solar.
solar.
Community solar.
Community solar, like Solar Landscape and other companies.
Right, LG did that on their Veronica site.
This
Okay.
gal that wants to come talk to us could inform us pretty
Yeah.
well on that.
Yeah.
So the other comment I had made in there is that the stormwater runoff, this is where the stormwater runoff issue comes in. So they are using pervious pavement and an under drainage system that will reduce stormwater from the proposed portion of the development. There's already an existing stormwater system there. And then my comment was the addition of a rain garden would be a good element for the landscaping and an increased vegetative method of treating stormwater on site. So it makes sense that they would use their existing stormwater system, and, you know, it's there, it's functional, that makes sense. And they are proposing this under drainage system that's basically the water runs onto the pervious pavement, it goes through the pervious pavement, and it's, you know, retained in this under drain.
I would just ask the planning people to make sure that the existing system has the capacity to handle this much new roof.
I was thinking the same thing, Robin. Yeah.
Because they probably built it for the other building.
They did, yep.
The
Just make sure
first
they
building's been there for a good many years.
Yeah, but to have built capacity, excess capacity of at least 50%,
Yeah.
not something they usually volunteer to do, so.
Okay, yep, I can check on that.
Okay. If there are no more comments on that one, we'll go to number B.
The only other comment I had, I'm sorry, I just want to
Oh,
add
go
this. I don't know if this is a comment that everyone likes. I just put this in there, and if it's, you know, too much, then we don't have to keep it, of course. But they are proposing a bike rack on their plan. And I always like to see those bike repair stations, especially in that area of town where if your bike
There's
got
nothing
flat-
else.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that would be a good one. They have these simple bike repair stations. They have one in front of Hillsborough Municipal Building. They have one like at Sandy Hook. And I think it would even encourage people more to ride their bikes there because you don't want to get stuck out there, you know?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one is the Macedonia Church of God in Jesus Christ on Fuller Street. And as I remember that one, they're taking down the existing church and building a new one.
Yes, this one, they propose to demolish the existing on-site church to construct a new 4,880 square foot single-story church. This one will include meeting rooms, new restrooms, fellowship hall. The church will front on Fuller Street, where the parking lot containing 38 spaces will also be accessed. They are seeking some types of variances as part of their preliminary final site plan approval.
Yeah,
How
it's
about-
it's an undersized lot.
Yeah, and their buffers are, required at 50 and going down to 7 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no room.
Where is the water gonna go?
So let me get to this spot down here.
Neiman Park.
They are proposing porous pavement in the new section of the parking lot. They're proposing some porous pavement and some landscaping that apparently the landscaping that they're proposing is good for stormwater filtration, I guess. Let me go down here and see what it says. Oh yeah, and they're using this under drain system also for the pervious pavement. They took that right out of the DEP's best management practice manual. This is the one that they're less than 1 acre being disturbed, so they're not a major development. So they don't have to conform to the stormwater management rules, but they are putting in some pervious pavement and this under drain system.
Could we make a recommendation that if the existing parking lot needs any kind of work done as a result of construction, that they consider pervious pavement in the existing parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you build that kind of a building, that parking lot's going to take a beating.
Well,
Right.
But the pervious pavement will work because you're not going to look at heavy trucks going over it.
That's
It'll
right.
just be
It's
Per-
for
you
the
know,
individual cars. Yeah.
passenger cars, right?
Okay, should use pervious. Okay, got that. What else did I put here?
We have map. Of
Oh yes,
something.
map, yep.
I'm trying to find which church it is because I know it's near Neiman Williams.
Block and a half off of Franklin Boulevard. If you're going towards Hamilton, between 27 and Hamilton, it's a block and a half to the left.
So this is Fuller Street. Booker Street is over here, and then I don't know if you know this area over here. I can't even see, my eyes are, this is Camner Ave.
So where's the church?
Macedonia
right now?
church is already
So
there.
this is
Wow.
the existing church here. They
It's
own
a
all of
small
these lots.
building.
Corner of that.
Solar panels?
Ted had a comment.
I think it's right in the upper left-hand corner of that picture.
Yes, so here's the
Oh, I
existing
see
church.
it. Okay.
Mhm.
It's relatively far from the park.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So
the
the,
other side of
the,
Franklin Boulevard.
Yeah.
the size of the new church is going to be the same size as the old one.
No, it's
Yeah,
bigger.
yep, it's gonna be the same.
It's near Department of Public Works. It's near
It's
Like-
the PRPM developments.
near composting site.
Let me go to the aerial to show you, maybe what's over here? I'm trying to see if there's anything over here that you,
They have to do
No.
electric vehicle charging here if they're, or
yes, hold on one second. So that is a question I had on my comments, is are they exempt from the EV charging because they are going under the inherently beneficial use? I couldn't find anything to
That's
that extent.
unrelated.
So there's no
irrelevant.
exemption.
No.
Okay, so then.
But they
yeah.
have also very few parking spots, at least what I'm seeing. Right now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
here it says project has 0 EV charging stations proposed, although 1 to 2 are required. And again, that's me going off of 5 instead of 6. The calculation is 5.7. I did find one case that occurred in Ann Arbor where they applied for the church project, applied for relief because of their inherently beneficial use. The problem is I don't think it's been decided yet. I haven't found any decision on it. But I couldn't find anything in the legislation that said that a waiver is available. So if we don't, ask.
Charging stations are inherently beneficial. So what's the deal?
Well, no, the use, there is exemptions for certain
Nice try,
aspects.
Stan.
But let's ask and let planning or engineering come back and tell us we
Right.
can't.
I mean,
So
it
they
seems
would,
perfect
to answer your
because they-
question, they would be required to have one or two, probably two if we're rounding up, it's two. They would be required to have, and they don't have any shown on the plan.
So how many parking spots they have?
30, I want to say it's 30. Let me look. I want to tell you correctly. Hang
That's
on
much
here.
more than on the map.
I think it was
15,
30, 38.
38, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Macedonian church.
Let me get the text. Hang on.
Okay, I was not looking into the map. Sorry, I was looking into my
That's okay.
phone map.
Let me move this single
38.
story. Where's my parking? Parking,
I just
parking.
counted 38.
38, yeah.
That's a lot.
More congregation, obviously.
6. So they have to have 2, 2, 2. Okay.
Yeah.
One dual charger now, another dual charger in 3 years, and third one in 6 years.
Yeah,
They have
now's
to
the
have the
time to
right
do it, to lay all the groundwork, because they got the ground open.
Yeah. They can install it all at once if they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Franklin Boulevard in 27.
Yeah, generally, a little bit south of that, yeah.
And this is actually area with lots of people who live in apartments and they do not have access to charging. So they could use it actually during all hours.
Yeah.
Of course, the church would have to set policy on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that would not be so simple.
They'll need access by card. Apply to the church, get a charge card, or get them registered as a user and use their charge card to buy the power.
Yeah. It doesn't say that they have to provide energy for free. No.
No.
By any means, no.
Yeah.
did-
Let's see what else here. Bike storage, they don't have any proposed bike storage. One of the questions that arose from the township planners report when reviewing this was, is there actually enough parking spaces for the peak times during services? Is there actually enough parking there? Which we're not really sure. So, I mean, I don't know how well this could be, having some bike storage there would probably be helpful. The other comment I made is that there's roof leaders proposed on the new church buildings that discharge the stormwater directly to the storm sewer. And the recommendation is to disconnect that. So basically, instead of having it discharged directly to the storm sewer, put in between there, a rain garden, a cistern, something that can
Yes.
disconnect that directly.
Probablemente for landscaping.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's room for a rain garden.
Right, there might not be. That is a
There's
very,
not a lot of room on that site.
there's not. But to discharge it from going from the roof leader directly into the storm system would be important if we can find a way.
We may have to say, find an alternative.
Right.
Refer to the Stormwater Management Act and see all the options. There's a lot of them.
Is this a flat roof or a peaked roof on this church?
This, I believe, is a peaked roof. Yeah, because I remember looking at that. Yeah, this is a peaked roof, and they're not considered a major development. They are putting in the pervious pavement, which is good. The parking here is going to be, not in terms of our review, but for planning, I'm sure that's one of the issues that they're really going to be focused on is the amount of parking for the proposed congregation.
Yeah, with only 4,800 square feet, you can't get a lot of people in the building.
Right, but I think the amount of parking that's required under the ordinance is much more than what's here.
But this is probably grandfathered, is what they had. But once you start to rebuild, then you lose the grandfathering, I would think.
Right.
It's pretty walkable community.
Yes,
right?
yes, that was my thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
I mean, public transportation is available there. Is that a factor or is that considered at all?
if public
On
transportation
Franklin
is
Boulevard.
available.
You have the suburban transit on Route
Yeah.
27.
Oh, that's the depot, but I mean, Somerset County and has routes that along Hamilton and Franklin Boulevard, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's definitely, that in planning, I'm sure we'll take that into consideration as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a good point, absolutely. All right, so any other comments on this one? All right. And then Paul, did you want to go over the one that you reviewed?
Well, I looked at it. It's another warehouse on Belmont, which is over by the ShopRite and where the fire station is, back in there. That one, there are 3 buildings on site, a 5-story office building and 2 1-story buildings. And they are proposing to take down the 1-story buildings, and they're about 100,000 square feet or so, maybe more than that, I think, and build another warehouse. So there'd be, and that's a 1-story, but evidently the usage is what they're looking at. Tara will go through the checklist, and we've got some time because I think that one comes up in March.
Yeah, that
But
one
it's- but
came up, that
it-
one came up right after we sent this out. So we'll look, I
did.
guess we'll do a more thorough review for the next meeting, but we'll keep our eye on it.
And again, they're claiming that they're not going to change the impervious coverage because the buildings that are taking down and putting ones on the site. But there is going to be need for the chargers, and again, recommending the solar. I just tell somebody I'm going to call them back. Oh, it's a nonsense call. Springfield, New Jersey. So it'll ring in the back. It'll stop. But,
All right, so we'll watch
so-
out for that one.
so, I think that one needs a little more research, but I wanted to alert everybody to it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So we have, now the last thing on that review of site plan was to set up a subcommittee to review a site plan.
Right. So, right, yeah. So one of the things that Paul and we've been trying to kind of bounce back and forth and go through the checklist, the green development checklist, which we've been using. I think it's helpful.
It
So
is.
glad.
Yeah, I think it is. It kind of makes you think a little more, about certain things, which is good. So Paul now, of course, that he's our chair, he is going to have more responsibilities. So it's going to be a little more difficult for him to be reviewing every plan. So what we talked about is maybe coming up with a subcommittee who will be in charge of doing the review of the plans. I will help everyone with it. And we can do it for a year to year. So if we get people who want to be on it this year, we can then make a new committee next year so that if you only want to do the 1 year, it's fine. We did talk about saying, hey, okay, this month maybe, Arnie and Jessica, you guys can do it. And next month you guys can do it. But it's a lot of like kind of follow up and making sure you know which ones to look at and that you filled up the checklist and all that. So if we can get a designated committee per year, that might be better.
Well, and this is only while we're virtual, correct? Because when we're in person, it's very different because we're able to each kind of take one and look at it real time, all at the same time. It's much more efficient.
I agree.
Correct?
Yes.
And
I liked everybody having input. It
Yeah.
does take a couple hours. If you're gonna go through it and read the plans by yourself and figure out things, it is a couple hours worth of work, but with
Well, I think,
2 or 3 people, it makes it a lot easier.
but when you look at the project list we have,
Mhm.
even if we do go back to in person, somebody you couldn't ask the whole commission to be looking at the plans for a couple hours every meeting
No,
and
no.
tackle everything else on the project list. So I do think in person or virtual, to have dedicated people makes a lot of sense. And that those people really don't have any other responsibility because that's such a big one.
Oh, practically speaking, though, when we were in person, what we all showed up to the meeting. Walter had the stack of plans. We all sat down. We each grabbed one. We looked at it, we each looked at them separately, but together we gave our comments to the group, everybody chimed in, and then we were done. It literally took 15 minutes.
But now we have a green checklist, so hopefully we're.
Yeah.
I think that
Take
with the
time.
green checklist, it'll take longer.
It will. Yeah, it definitely will. There is those two ways to go about it. We could either do it so that if we have this committee, or if you don't want a committee, I can go through them and just fill out the green checklist, not in such depth, but at least make sure the general, like, what variances are they seeking, what's the square footage, etc. This way you have it and you don't have to go through and look for those minor details. You can look for the environmental recommendations.
Don't get me wrong, from an efficiency perspective, like infrastructure efficiency perspective and how we're organized, I think subcommittees are the way to go. I've been advocating for this for quite some time. I just want to make sure that we're being as efficient as humanly possible. If we think that the way our workload is evolving isn't going to lend itself to our past methods of reviewing plans, then so be it. Then we need to create this subcommittee. I think then, unfortunately for you and Paul, then you have to figure out some other method of getting these plans to this group in advance of our meetings. But I get it, and I totally would vote yes to a subcommittee.
I've been pulling the plans off the planning board website. I just go on the town website and that's what I read. I don't have the printed sheets like we used to get, the page after page. So I just,
Notice of what ones are coming to us specifically.
yeah.
We check the website, because we check the website and look for the ones that are basically under our jurisdiction or like applicable. So if it's a site plan, unless it's a small residential one, then we don't review it. But if it's any kind of like preliminary site plan, we do it.
I mean, somebody wants to put a garage on site, what do you?
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say,
Subcommittees. I keep thinking, like, can we formalize all of our subcommittees and
Yeah.
actually create a structured tree and everything? Like,
yeah. I mean, the other option is I've never actually been to a meeting with you guys in person yet, because I started when we were virtual. So if you want, we can try it out the way that you guys used to do it and see which method you prefer. Because I've actually never been with all of you in person at one time. So
if you and Robin are saying that, and Paul are saying that the level of detail involved in reviewing these is evolving to a different degree, then the old way of doing things isn't going to work, and that's fine. I'm trying to poke holes to make sure we're absolutely doing this the right way. That's
yeah,
it.
I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good discussion.
we have, it's evolved as the new regulations came in and new things we think about. I mean,
And the
earlier,
work,
we had no idea about electric charges or even the solar cells.
Right.
and the
This is
things,
all a new area in the last couple of years.
and the things we want to do that are not reviewing plans.
Yeah.
That's growing.
Yeah, yeah.
So looking at the totality, I think it's a good idea to form a subcommittee. You just have to figure out whose gifts are best placed where.
Right.
Well, I would volunteer for such a subcommittee because if it's going to the planning board, I will be reviewing it anyway, although
Okay.
the planning board gets the plans just the Friday before the meeting. I would hope to be able to get, full paper plans because, if you really trying to review a site plan from what you can get on the computer is rather hard.
But that's where the checklist does help. At least it helps you focus and look at this.
Yeah,
and
but
look at that.
Ted's right, because a lot of the times the things you want are in the footnotes of the drawings. And they are hard to see on the screen.
And if Ted's on that committee, he can carry the flag to the planning board.
And it gives Ted a pre-advanced notice of what's going to be in the planning board,
Yeah, I mean,
which is a good advantage for Ted.
that has been an advantage to me before.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think
So
Ted would
we
be
have a
perfect.
member committee. Great.
Yeah.
So Ted, who do you want on your committee?
Do we have to vote on that, or can Paul just set that up? Like,
I
how
can
does this
set it up, I think,
Yeah,
but
you have to
we
vote on
we
this.
need somebody to be with Ted.
Ted, who do you want?
Well, just like,
Volunteer.
How many? How many are 3, 4?
Well, I'll be with Ted for sure. I'll help facilitate that, and
Okay.
I can fill out the checklist with all the initial details. This way you don't have to waste your time, doing that.
I would say at least one more.
I can volunteer.
Easy?
There you go.
Okay.
Easy.
That'd be great.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's a good start. And then if we need to add more people, you guys just speak up and say, hey, we need help.
And easy, this will also be a learning experience for you as well as we get into the nuts and bolts of these things.
Exactly.
After all,
Appreciate that.
Easy is full member, so
Yeah. Well, you had to do that, didn't you, Stan?
All right, so we'll start with this. We'll try and figure out how it's best going to work. It'll probably take a little bit to see how it works best, but we'll at least start putting that into place.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Okay, so we've completed the review item 8, and now we're up to new business. And
Yeah.
now we get to look at Justin.
Paul,
Yeah.
can,
Robin, yeah, wait, yes, Robin.
can we add one more thing to new business?
Sure.
Stan and
New
I
business
met,
or old business?
new business.
Oh,
Stan
because
and
I have
I,
one thing to add to old business, if we
Uh-huh.
can do that before we get to new business. Just a question.
We've been doing
That's
new
the new
business.
business.
Oh, yeah, okay, what,
new business is on the agenda before old business. That's why I
Yeah.
brought it up, Arnie.
right,
Okay,
right.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Robin, go
Uh,
ahead.
Stan and I met with someone from the BPU about EV charging stations on poles. So we'd like to report out. So just put that under new business.
Good.
Rob-
That's
Robert
a very
Gaffney.
interesting subject.
Okay.
That'll be E, that'll be item F, I guess. Okay, Tara, have you thought about what Justin, well, Justin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Justin. I'm a Rutgers student. I study environmental policy, institutions, and behavior. I have an interest in environmental law after undergrad. This is like my first major internship. Previously, I've done like work for a club called Climate Reality, where I kind of analyze laws in New Jersey, environmental laws, and then we lobby for future laws. So I know previously the club has done lobbying work in Trenton. So I've been working with them. But yeah, I'm super excited to work with you guys. And this is like a kind of a dream come true. It's awesome.
Now, Tara, that job or interim position description you sent us, is that the kind of work that Justin's going to be
Yes.
doing?
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
that's exactly. So the way it works is I've had interns in the past through Franklin through this program that Dr. Van Abs runs at Rutgers. And he basically mentors people in the class, and then he hooks up with municipal agencies and nonprofit agencies that allows them to do 125 hours of intern hours, and they get credit from Rutgers for it. They have to, show that they've attended meetings and completed a project, and Justin will do a presentation to his class at the end and to us. But yeah, Justin responded immediately to that job description I sent out, and we had an interview, and I just thought he was a great fit. He's really excited about it, and so far he even started like a few days early, which was great. So
Thank you, Justin. That's super.
Thank you.
yeah. So what he's going to be working on basically is he's going to attend the environmental commission meeting. So as tasks come up, he can help with those. So that's kind of a more open-ended thing. But the main thing he's going to be helping us out with is the Sustainable Jersey recertification. He's going to be putting together kind of like a master spreadsheet to figure out what do we need to submit, where are we on certain things that we can submit. I did send him the site plan review in advance because I think that would be good for him to learn how to kind of do that type of review. So he'll probably help out with our subcommittee while he's here. And then other things we talked about, looking at our lighting ordinance for the Monarch Butterfly Pledge. We talked about the green infrastructure plan, so he'll be looking at that. And I think, as he mentioned before, he's very interested in environmental law. So any opportunity, I'm keeping an eye out for opportunities that will, kind of satisfy his interest as well.
Okay. I think you're gonna have a full plate, Justin.
A
We
win-win.
know of some laws relevant to our reviews that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Well, actually, so Justin, why don't you tell them when we had a talk on Friday just to get him ready for the, understanding how the meeting went. And he actually did have a really good recommendation for the green land development checklist that I think is worth implementing. So why don't you tell them that, Justin?
Yeah, of course. So I took an environmental law course last semester, and I basically did something similar where we took like a development proposal and we kind of checked off federal statutory laws and like what each part of the proposal would kind of apply to. So I was telling her like maybe we can have a thing where we list out different laws of what each part of a proposal is applying to, if that makes sense, just so it's easier to organize it. And so it can be like, okay, this is lawful, like, okay, approved, perfect. This doesn't fit, all right, no go, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
I like it.
Brilliant.
I
Brilliant.
think it's smart. So we can work on that but yeah, he's really he's going to kind of help with, if research has to be done on something, he can help with that. And so we have him until May.
Oh,
So
good. He fits into our April stream cleanup.
yes, you can come to that if you'd like. I told him to, I think
Yeah.
if he has a chance, maybe he can come to an open space committee meeting or trails meeting just to kind of, see how other committees work as well.
Yeah,
Very
Sustainable Jersey recertification application is due at the beginning of June.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's going to be working on that. He's already gearing up for that. So
That's
yes,
an important
it's gonna be a
task.
huge help.
Will be great addition,
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
Justin. Thank you
Thanks.
for choosing Franklin for your internship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, now we get to the thing you might be working toward. Goals and objectives for 2022.
Yes. So I'm going to post this on the screen just so we can all see it at the same time. So, Justin, yes, I did tell you about this a little bit, but just for anyone that wasn't here, to refresh your memories, we had talked about over the last few months putting together like some goals and maybe potential projects we want to work on for 2022. So I created this table of stuff I know we're working on, and I also did get some comments that I put in from committee members. So we can go through this list and we can add, we can delete, we can edit, whatever everyone thinks is best.
Can you scroll down, or is there a way you can email this to everyone?
I sent it with the agenda.
So this is the table, two-page table.
So I have it on the screen here. I can definitely scroll down. So the first one we can go through quickly, we've talked about, is the Adopt a Drain program. My understanding is that the contract forms are being worked on. I have to get another update on that, which I will find out what's going on, but I believe we were approved to go ahead with that. And we went through the details of how that will work with Hamline University. So as soon as all those contract documents are signed and executed, we can start working with them to do the interactive mapping system and kind of get that going. So that is underway. The next one is the heat island management and mitigation. We did start looking into that and doing some research. And that was, Robin had recommended a while back looking into that, especially where vulnerable populations correspond with highly urbanized areas. So right now, in terms of funding, it's unknown. We don't know exactly what we want to do with it yet. We have to do, research, which that's something Justin I had mentioned can help with as well. There's probably grants available through Sustainable Jersey or other organizations. We have some basic data, but I did find more data available through Sustainable Jersey. So I need to kind of analyze that and break it down. But
and we need to coordinate with the county on that because the county has some initiatives for this.
yes, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. I wonder if I can edit that right here while I'm sharing it. I probably can. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's what is there. There has, what do they call that plan? They're all hazards mitigation plan.
I don't know. It's integrated with all those departments coming together
Yeah.
in that one plan.
I think that's what it is, that all hazards mitigation plan. So that's a good point. I add that in there. The green infrastructure feasibility plan, we have $2,500 left on that grant. I spoke with Dr. Abrupta from Rutgers Water Resource Protection program. And we're trying to find a place to put one of these green infrastructure projects. We did talk about maybe partnering up with the youth center that has just been built or the proposed library, or do we want to just go with the municipal building? Trails is currently talking about potentially reestablishing some demonstration gardens at Negri Napodi Grasslands Preserve. So that might be a spot. So basically, we just need to finalize which one we want to do and then tell Rutgers, and they will put together those final plans and we can order the materials. But that grant will close that has to be closed in May. So that one, we've already spent the 17,500 and we will just use that remaining 2,500 in the next few months.
Aren't there a lot of suggested places for rain gardens in their report?
Yes, one of them was Franklin Park Firehouse and 6 Mile Run Reformed Church. We talked about
Yes.
maybe doing something together with those two. As
We
they're across the
did.
street from each other.
We did.
think-
So oh, go ahead, Ted. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think the library has plans for a rain garden, if I remember the plans
It-
right.
It does. I don't think we really need to do anything about that.
Yeah.
Right, that one's already in their work from the library itself.
Yeah,
We can, yeah, and that is true. We could use the remaining grant money though for materials or signage, but if it's already underway and we want them to just continue with their budget, that's fine. We would, and Dr. Abrupta said he would love to do one of the proposed projects on a church property because they haven't really done one and he would love to do it. The issue is that with the $2,500 we have and the timeline, we need to get into an agreement with the church for allowing us to, design and place the rain garden there, but also a maintenance plan has to be in place. So that is going to take a little more time than we have with this grant. Not saying that we can definitely work on that. It just would be outside of this scope of grant funding.
Got it.
But that is almost done. So we are in good shape with that. Let me scroll down here. That's just more. Okay. The community energy plan. This is on our agenda to talk a little bit about more later. In the status, you'll see it's just proposed because right now we're deciding should we apply for a grant from the New Jersey Department of Energy because Franklin is classified as an overburdened community under the New Jersey Environmental Equity Act or Environmental Justice Act. We are allowed up to 25,000 instead of I think it's 10,000. Yeah, that other communities can get. So that grant application I found out is due, I believe, the end of February or beginning of March. It's a large application. There's a lot of information we have to put together, but basically would give us the funding to hire a consultant to put together a plan that focuses on renewable energy production and generation, resiliency, workforce development. So that's what that plan would be. So it's on the list as proposed if we go ahead and apply for the grant, which we may decide not to, or we may decide to do that.
Do you really have enough time to get all the work done?
If we start working on it now, like putting the grant together, we will have time. But we gotta start, if we're gonna do it, we gotta start working on it soon. The question is, will we have time to actually do it? Because it's a big project. So it's something to think about.
What is the deadline for the $2,500 to use the grant?
That we have to be finished with by May. So we don't have to have had spent it, but we just have to have it allocated. So we have to say, okay, we know we're going here. We've ordered the materials.
Okay, because on Franklin Boulevard there are two churches, Eternal Life Christian Church and Mount Carmel Orthodox Presbyterian, and I think they are in a heavily populated area, and maybe they would benefit.
I recall in the list of projects, there was the project which would have the biggest effect, although also expensive, was for the Mount Carmel Church parking lot.
It was, you're right. That was absolutely right.
But that's way above the 2,500.
Oh yeah, I mean that's not for the 2,500, but there's going to be infrastructure money coming.
Yes.
I think we should be ready to get it. The other thing that is mentioned in legislation is money for trail development, and I'd like to see us get the north-south bicycle trail going.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely. With that infrastructure money, yes, absolutely.
So
And
that
actually
should go
today
on
I
our list.
attended a webinar. NJDEP is giving out, it's called Watershed Restoration Grants, and that is due. So that grant application, which I'm gonna have to talk about with you guys more next time we meet, just because I just went to it this morning. They're due at the end of February, but they're giving out grants for green infrastructure projects in environmental justice communities. So that might be a good one, Ted, to use because they're giving out up to like $100,000 in grants. So that might be a good spot to do that Mount
Yes.
Carmel project.
Yeah. And I have some connections at that church. They used to be my clients. I know
Oh,
some of the
great.
leadership there, so I could help.
Perfect. So that's something all to focus on. The education on plastic bags ban I have down as current. You know, I talked about what we've been doing with the giving out of the tote bags and how we're doing social media posts and all that. So that'll stay on. The Sustainable States Challenge, creating EV ready communities. That is through the Sustainable States Network. And Franklin, I guess a while back, was asked with Montgomery and Hillsborough to be part of this Sustainable States Network. What I've determined from attending the workshops is that it's really just like 4 times a year. You sit in on a workshop and experts from the Sustainable States Networks gives you ideas about how to implement sustainable transportation practices. So I went to one last time. There was like a guest speaker that talked about, you know, how they're, I guess, kind of synchronizing their EV charging networks. So, you know, we keep attending that because we're part of it and there's no real work to be done except for attendance at the webinars. And the next one, I'll send out a link for whoever wants to attend.
Thank you.
Sustainable Jersey recertification, that is on, as Ted mentioned, it's due in June. December here, I gotta put June. It's due in
December.
June.
That's
Luckily,
when our current certification ends, but the recertification application has to be in at the beginning of June. It might even be at the very end of May this year.
I'll just put in late May, early June. Okay, so that application, it's basically we have to write up a bunch of narratives based on the action items that are designated by Sustainable Jersey for what we have completed. If we have enough points, then we are good to go with that. But one of the things Justin is working on is looking at projects like our lighting ordinance, for example, as part of the mayor's Monarch Butterfly Pledge. One of the items you can do through there is to update your lighting ordinance or retrofit some lighting. So I looked at our lighting ordinance. Justin is helping me go through that. And if we can amend that so it meets both of those criteria, we can get points for Sustainable Jersey and we can write up the narrative while also satisfying that.
Tara, the lighting ordinance was based on the Eatontown project. Eatontown did this first year, but it's mainly focused on daylight and not light trespass.
Right.
That's what's in there.
So that would meet the requirements for Sustainable Jersey, but if we just add in a line or two about the importance to wildlife of not having light trespass, then it'll actually satisfy both things with one. So we might make, you know, maybe we can make an amendment, maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's
we also can require the outside fixtures to be full cutoff instead of half or partial.
Yep, and that Eatontown is the one that we will definitely be modeled after, and we continue down that path.
Right.
But that Sustainable Jersey recertification has to be done. That is like due, you know, like Ted said, in June, and we're working on it, but that is a priority. On the list, we also have the stream cleanup, which is April 9th.
Correct.
Let me write that here, April 9th.
Is that part of recert also?
I have it.
Is there a section in there for recertification? Might get us some points?
No.
No.
Well, actually there is, but there has to be an educational component to it. Squeaked by on one previous one because I spoke about John Clyde at the gathering of people. But check out the requirements for that, because I think we can get sustainable Jersey points if we do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if it's just a matter of making sure we meet that component, then we'll make sure we get that as included, you know?
Yeah.
Where Justin can come in and help us.
Yeah. Yep.
Which stream are we doing this year? Mile Run again?
Stan knows. Stan?
Sorry, what?
Which stream are we doing?
We are doing Mile Run.
Mile Run.
Mile
That's
Run.
what I thought.
Okay.
It's a collaboration with New Brunswick Environmental Commission.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Joint collaboration with the neighboring
Yes.
jurisdiction.
That probably gets points too.
Yeah.
That's why I worded it that way.
I think that would work, yeah. At the last meeting we talked, Jessica talked about this wrapping, or Walter and Jessica maybe talked about the wrapping paper innovation project. That's what I called it, innovation project. And the reason I called it that is because Ted will know there's a category of sustainable Jersey called innovation project. And so I think if we do that, we can get points for the next certification. But we talked about maybe for up, before the holiday season next year, maybe doing some type of education campaign about, wrapping materials and how much waste is associated with them and different types of options, and maybe, surveying people or being able to give out some types of alternative wrapping.
I think we have to, timing wise, we'd have to time that right, because like I'm thinking, probably right after Thanksgiving, but I second guess that because there's a lot of people I know that start before Thanksgiving. So
Right.
I have to really think about timing with that one to be effective.
Yeah, that we might have to start working on maybe like in the summer, start thinking about it, getting in, on it. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Sustainable gift wrapping, I think, categorizes what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Sustainable gift wrapping. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what it would be. Right. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is all I have on the list, but we can add more now this is a lot going on, so we can remove, we can add.
For the innovation project, I wonder if that could be tied into, we could broaden that. Like I know I purchased, like if I have to use a sticker, I try and buy compostable stickers for our farm. If I have to, I have wrapping like tape for boxes, it's compostable and it's wax coated instead of it being plastic. So I'm wondering if it's something more in line with, I mean, wrapping paper is great, but I feel like we could broaden it into everyday materials and how you can be more sustainable in your everyday life.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's the little things that add up over time.
Yeah.
And just going through the chat, because Robin says that she will have to leave soon, but one of the stuff that we can also add would be implementation of pole-mounted chargers for electric vehicles.
Yep.
This
Okay,
is
oh,
what
yes.
we have discussed with the guy Robert Gaffney with BPU from BPU, and this is going to be a big thing, I think, because he got also buy-in from Kathleen Lewis. She's even higher up in BPU, and there will be more that we want to report, right? Robin, are you still here?
I'm still here, and
Okay, good.
I'm sorry I have to go, and I know you want to make this item F, but essentially, Frank Gaffney is an ombudsman for business for the BPU. Crystal
Pruitt.
Pruitt could not
connected
really
us,
speak with
yeah.
us because of the potential conflict. So she recommended Frank. We met with Frank. He recommended we see what this new program the BPU is supposed to be coming out with this week, if it's delivered on time, regarding electric vehicle charging stations and multifamily housing. So we have to watch for that. Number two, we really need to determine who owns what poles in Franklin. So are we talking to Verizon about putting a charger on their pole? Are we talking to PSE&G?
PSE&G generally owns them.
Yeah.
And then the town may own some. He talked about municipalities where the town poles in parks, for example, are actually owned by towns.
Yeah.
In some towns. So we need to request someone at the township to share that list with us. And then we're meeting with Frank again on February 3rd, including Kathleen Lewis, so we can learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think if we can
Okay.
put that on the project list,
Mhm.
and Stan and I
Yeah.
can continue
We
to
we
run
had
through that.
conversation in December about it, and that actually prompted us to connect with VPU,
Right.
and we just want to take it to the next level because, first of all, there's funding available not only from VPU but also from DEP, and utility mounted chargers are easier to install because you don't need trenching, so it's cheaper. And
But there are
yeah,
some concerns. They're worried about, well, if the technology changes and
that's
people aren't,
universal,
people aren't using them in 3 years or 5 years, are we investing this money and end up with stranded assets?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I think we take it one step at a time and learn. But Tara, if there's anything else on that list that needs some ownership, I could take on one more thing. So
Thanks, Robin. I think right now for this is good. I
Sorry,
think,
Tara,
Oh.
real quickly, I had broached the idea of a rain garden map for the township, and you said we probably would have to talk to DPW to see what exists. But, if we go into more rain gardens and as a result of talking about more stormwater control, that can be broadened and added. And I don't know whether it will qualify for any points anywhere, but I still think that that's a great idea. But DPW definitely would have to be on board. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So I did meet a while back with our IT department to see how we would go about putting that map together because a lot
Yeah.
of the rain gardens are on private property.
Oh.
So there is a way to do it. It's just getting that data. It probably would never be 100% up to date, but
Yeah.
it's not, that doesn't mean we could just say, you know what, we're just focusing on the ones that are going to be on township property or, I'm sure there's a way we could figure it out. So I'll put it on the list for sure. Rain garden map.
Okay. And I'd be willing to sort of, shepherd that along, with your guidance and, in concert with you if necessary.
Okay, perfect.
Very good. Okay. So then
That's all the that's
That's all
everything
the
I
grants.
compiled.
the next item on new business is the water quality reporting, which raised a lot of questions here in town. But I also, before I get into that, the Star Ledger had an article this week about $1 billion that Jersey has for upgrading water infrastructure.
Yes.
And that was on the first page, I guess. So anyway, but that's going to be grants and all that stuff.
My bigger issue was that this came to us because I've been
Yes.
holding to it this whole time.
Right. I've got mine here.
Yeah, this came to us saying that really for a year they have not been meeting the standard, and they knew it 6 months ago, and they didn't say anything until now. That's a bigger issue to me. Like, I can afford to go out and buy the specialty water filter that filters out glyphosate and copper and lead and everything else under the sun and slowly filter my water to function in my daily life. Not everybody has that. And I think it's a real issue. Like I've been drinking that water for a year. I'm not gonna lie, my hair's started falling out and I've wondered why. And now I'm like, is it this? Is it because of this? I don't know. Could be just because I'm getting old. Who knows? But
No, that's not why.
A lot of that was
It's not
can't escape aging, Tara. You want to or not?
she put into the letter. There were no violations with respect to heavy metal presence.
When they say, run your water to flush out any lead or copper, use cold water for cooking and preparing baby formula, don't boil your water, and get your child tested. I'm sorry, Ted, that's enough to be concerned.
Jessica, that's the problem right there, is the letter that we received was a form letter that was required to be sent by the DEP. And there's a tremendous amount of information in there that it did exactly to you what it shouldn't have done. It scared people into thinking there were problems that really did not exist. There should have been a letter that went out with this from Franklin Township that clarified what really occurred. This is a bureaucratic letter that was sent out, required to be sent out by the DEP, and it was just horribly done. It was just a bureaucratic mess.
Then what really occurred? Because maybe that's our social media.
The pH was too low.
Had prepared such a letter, and I thought that Carl Hauck's letter was going out with the DEP required letter, but it didn't.
And even Carl Hauck's letter, the way it was put together, as I recall, I don't think I have that in front of me, but that letter didn't really get to the point either.
No.
His letter needed clarification. So it really comes down to, it was mostly the DEP's letter that was mandated, that was required by the township to send it out. It was just very poorly written. And as Ted said, a secondary letter should have gone out with it, and it didn't. And it was just a mess.
So then why don't
Your hair is not falling out because of what was in the water.
Damn it, Arnie.
Definitely has nothing to do with.
I was hoping for an excuse also, but you know.
My doctor would say I wear baseball hats too much. And it's my riding helmet. So then why don't we as an environmental commission put together something in conjunction with the town that does go out and alleviates some of the concern? Because personally,
Mel,
you know,
look down right there. You got it.
I'm worried about, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I've got all my chickens that end up, they drink rainwater largely, but there's times we have to supplement with our water, and I hate that, but we have to do it. And I'm like, is that, you know, somehow making its way into the eggs we sell? Like, I don't know all the details. I'd have to do more research. I'm not a scientist. I'm a farmer.
The last sentence of the second paragraph says they've been in compliance with our lead and copper levels for the past decade.
But it starts with that they were not in compliance from January 2021 through June 30th, 2021.
Yeah. Okay,
was
Jessica.
Not in compliance.
Let me tell you, you were talking about that you are not scientists, so maybe I should say something. I got this letter, and I don't even remember when was it, because when I read it, it went straight into the garbage. And let me tell you,
Never got it. I saw it.
Even worse.
because you know, it's true that lowering pH may dissolve metals, okay? But then the next sentence was, there was no increases in those metals, as Paul mentioned, right?
Yeah.
And so the acidity by itself means nothing for the human organism. Your Coca-Cola has pH 2.6, okay? Juice, orange juice is 3 point, I don't know, something. Neutral means 7, okay? Whether the water has 6.5, you know, I don't remember what were the figures. It's not too significant. You know, carbon dioxide make water more acidic. You can go to 5.5 or even lower just with carbon dioxide, okay? And that's not enough to dissolve metals. So to me, it was an incident, you know, and apparently it was related to salt.
Yeah.
To you know,
The seasonal distribution.
Yeah,
Salt used to clear the streets in the winter.
Yeah. And so, which may come again.
Salt would have any effect on pH.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Unless there were other things other than sodium chloride, which is quite likely.
Yes, like a calcium chloride, which is also added, and it has actually acidic reaction.
Yeah. But it's March and April. It's the seasonal thing.
Yeah, they said it happened in March and April.
Yeah,
Stan, the point you're making is well taken, that with your scientific background, your science background, you understood that right away that there wasn't a problem, but most people don't have that background,
Yeah.
which is why the way this letter was just poorly done.
yeah.
So what is the town doing to mitigate the, not panic, but the concern that this has now raised? Because I know I'm not the only one that was upset about it.
Oh, you're
So
right. A lot of people were
Yeah,
upset about it.
our local bulletin board here at Canal Walk was full of, when this letter came out. There was a whole lot of discussion about it.
So what is the town doing? And if they're not doing anything, should we as a commission be doing something? Or saying something?
I think the commission should ask Bob Vornlocker why an explanatory letter didn't go out along with the DEP letter.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Then I motion we ask for Bob Vornlocker why an explanatory letter didn't go out with the DEP letter.
And also, I would suggest that I don't know if Carl Hauk has the background that somebody like Stan has as far as chemistry is concerned, and is able to properly explain the letter, the DEP letter that went out in a way that would help people understand and not scare people.
Yeah, it's a linguistic issue. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Yeah. Mhm.
The other point I saw was that it says we get the water from 3 different suppliers, but it never said which, if they've got testing, they know what suppliers handle what parts of the town. And they could have said, this area has a little higher, these 2 don't, or something. But it didn't, it sort of hinted at that.
The water is all mixed together. That question was specifically asked, I think it was during a council meeting, and the response was that our water is mixed together. It's basically, I think, more or less 70% from New Jersey American water and 30% from New Brunswick. And we used to have a little from South Brunswick for the line going down Route 27, but that's now connected up to Township water. There was some mention of North Brunswick, but I don't think we take any water from North Brunswick, even though their station for taking water out of the canal is in Franklin on Canal Road. But
And I don't think the people of Franklin or anywhere really care that much, if at all, where their water comes from, as long as they know that it's safe.
Right.
Yeah, good point. No, how do we gotta talk to,
I motion that
Vornlocker?
somebody ask Bob Vornlocker why something didn't go out. And what
Exactly.
protocol could we follow moving forward? Is this
Well-
something where the environmental commission could be a resource to the town? Especially
it should
since
be.
What did?
It should be. Well, hell,
Yeah.
Councilman Potosnik could have written such a letter,
Where'd he go?
trained as a chemist.
He signed off. He's not here anymore.
it's late.
It is late. Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Tara, can you remind him or something?
I can reach out. I can ask him if
Yeah,
and
let's ask him about that.
information. Yep.
This would be right up his alley.
Yeah.
You guys want to learn about eggs, my day job, photo licensing, I'm your girl, but I don't know this. So I read it, and as a layperson, it is alarming. So I'm just going to call you Stan.
Okay.
I
He'll
also
tell you to
drink
throw the
tap
letter in
water.
he'll tell you to throw the letter in recycling.
Well, yeah, that's default, I said garbage, but I meant recycling.
I know, Stan. I know that's what you meant.
But yeah, it's a bias. I use my knowledge to make my life easier, but then I don't recognize that some other people don't read it the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We don't have the not educated in that way. That's I don't think the average person
I
is.
mean, look, we live in the society that we perceive as tap water not drinkable. That's why we believe that we need to buy bottled water, okay? And somebody is making money on it, you know. And those who are supposed to deliver pure water through pipes, they start believing that maybe even the water that they deliver is not really, doesn't need to be clean or whatever. And so this is potential danger that I'm seeing, you know. I'm drinking tap water. I used to filter it. And then I realized that the carbon footprint of the filter and stuff is just not worth it. So I just drink it as is. And I'm still here, okay? So,
See, Stan's losing his hair also.
well, it's getting gray, right? That's, that's number one.
Well, the gray is from the pH, Stan.
No.
You know, don't forget that, you know, we got our water quality report. You get one every year. And if you read that, there's an attempt to sort of characterize the water system that Franklin Township has created, if you want to call it that. And so I think that might answer some of your questions about, you know, how this all comes together. And the monitoring stations within the water system are set and approved by the state. So if you want to change those, you know, maybe we can begin to question those things. But right now, that's pretty fixed, and they just have to make sure that they monitor according to the schedule.
That's a bigger fish to fry. I think our little flounder we're dealing with is more like how can we get the town to better communicate to the townspeople what this kind of language actually means. Right.
You're absolutely right. Communication is the key to a situation like this.
Yeah.
All right.
They made a non-bad situation into a bad situation and worse.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, as I mentioned, just to
that's all we can do at this point.
Yeah, I was just going to finish up this about this article. They're going to have $170 million this year for improving water infrastructure. In some cases, they're going to change pipes, and there are going to be grants available for this. If we really have any sort of even a minor problem, it might be worth exploring when the grant programs come out to see if the town could benefit.
Hopefully the money is spent on real problems and not problems that don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Places will really need that money are the places that have combined sewer outflows.
And also they're going to be taking out lead pipes where they still exist.
Yeah, and lead pipes. And council was told that Franklin has no lead pipes.
Okay, that's good information.
Specific, because the township just replaced mains along Home Street, which is absolutely the oldest part of the township. And Carl Hauck said they didn't have any lead pipes even there.
Okay. Well, there's another reassuring aspect of the water system.
See, what you might need to be concerned about is what is the material of the pipe that goes from the main into the house?
Yep.
Those are the ones that could conceivably be lead.
Right.
But they didn't have them even there.
So what is the material made of in Franklin? So it's not lead. What is it? Iron? Is it zinc? What is it?
What they put in now is probably PVC.
That's what I was going to say.
That's the newest.
Yeah. But they've been doing that for the last 15, 20 years. More.
So PVC has no metal, so that's out of question.
Yeah.
No. You might have had cast iron pipes earlier. I don't know.
That's what I wanted to question, because, you know, you may have iron in your water, but what's the deal, right?
No.
Iron's a dietary supplement.
Actually,
You can save money.
There you go.
Remember this, that the biggest concern about water in the township is for people who have wells, is there arsenic in the well water?
Absolutely.
PC actually ran a program of asking people to bring in samples of their water to the township, and we got a sort of a bulk discount from to get them all analyzed for arsenic until Ken Daly got cold feet and closed down the project early, but I think we've probably gotten most of the samples we were going to get. And it's very spotty. You can have two houses next door to each other and one will have an appreciable level of arsenic and one won't. But this is not a concern for people who are on
public water, yeah.
Water. It's a concern for people like me and the mayor who have wells.
Oh.
And by the way, no level of arsenic is appreciable.
And the arsenic is purely natural.
Yeah, that I do know. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But while we're on the subject, Paul, you
Yes.
mentioned the infrastructure grants or monies coming.
Right.
But
Yes.
also, New Jersey got money as a result of Hurricane Ida
Yeah.
to mitigate the damage. And I don't know when that's coming, but we're going to have money all over the place. And I just hope it doesn't corrupt us. We get something done.
And also from Build Better Back, right?
Build Better Back, yeah.
Yeah, so there's gonna be more.
But evidently from this article, it says state officials will directly speak with communities and utilities about the water systems in the next 3 months to determine how the money should be used.
Okay.
So, but the state is getting $1 billion.
Yeah.
We'll do a lot with that.
And I think the Hurricane Ida money is over and above that.
Yeah, this is part of the first big Build Back Better that actually passed.
Absolutely. To deal with
So
bridges.
now that we've beaten the water thing to death.
Okay, what do we have next on agenda?
Well, there was it says community updates, but we've really been doing a lot of that as we went along here, I think.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone that had a committee that wanted to speak something?
I don't have an update about education.
Okay.
I have to connect again with the teacher and the vice principal. And I have a question. What happened? Sure. There was a resolution that you were going to recommend to the council, the commission, about having a student being member of the commission. Did that go through? Was that proposed?
Thanks for reminding, because
Yeah, I don't think it was. I mean, we talked about it.
Okay.
And I guess maybe I thought, well, since we had Justin here, is that going to work? But I had some other ideas about the student. You're right.
The student was meant to be from high school.
We're gonna be high school level, yeah.
And a Franklin resident. Mm-hmm.
And a Franklin resident. Where do you live, Justin?
I live in West Effort, New Jersey, so South Jersey near Philadelphia.
Okay, you can't do double duty as our student.
Can't be a twofer.
No.
But maybe we should pursue that. I think we put it on the table, but we didn't do anything. So from this moment forward, maybe
we had quite a conversation about this topic.
Yes,
and
we did.
So
so
okay. So I think we're up to old business, which is the first one is the Adopt a Drain program, and Robert had mentioned that was moving forward, but they still need some approvals.
Yep.
And then the implementation of the Green Infrastructure Strategic Plan. That I think, where would that be? That would be in the sheet you put out.
Yeah, we talked about it already,
Yeah.
that we're looking for the project for the $2,500. So it's just, we're working on getting that last part done, but we're about
Sure.
80% done, so.
Okay, we're getting down toward the end. It says other old business as requested by the commissioner. I think we've been doing that as we went along.
Absolutely.
I have one thing that I'd like to ask. I
Sure.
was going to ask Ed and Ted, but I'll ask Ted if he knows if there's anything new, any updates on the motor vehicle idling ordinance.
Oh my God, I remember. Yeah, I do.
No, I don't know of any.
How can we find out about that?
Ask Mark Healy.
What was it for, Arnie? Is it a new ordinance you're saying, or an amendment?
It's a motor vehicle ordinance, idling ordinance that we recommended to
Idling.
the council
At
Trucks,
warehouse,
buses, cars,
several months
warehouses.
ago. And they were supposedly working on writing one and implementing this for idling vehicles in different areas of town. So
How would it
yeah,
work with the
you can
state law?
find out from Mark. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that, Stan?
How does it work with the state law? Because state law has already this taken care of. So
Well, no, my idea was, I mean, I enforced that law for many years.
yes.
But my idea was for the township to put up signs throughout the town.
They did.
Well, they have them in
Okay.
some places, but not throughout the town. There have been some, but also whether the town does enforcement or they work with the county health department to do enforcement of it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So the ordinance would kind of make it more strict, or
It'd probably use the same, guidelines that the DEP uses.
I will look to see what I can find about that.
Very good.
Probably be just like when we discussed litter along streams, that it would be something where if the town notices
violation.
ongoing problem, that they report to the county and the county enforces. I'm just guessing that it's similar, since, as Arnie says, the county enforces those.
Yeah,
Well, at the county level, they had each county can have their own program working with the DEP, and what each county does, and I know Somerset County does this, they put together a list of places where people have either complained about or where they know whether they're either convenience stores or warehouses or any trucking places, and they go on a rotating basis to all these places and do surveillance, usually early in the morning when trucks are starting up.
Okay, understood.
So the
So
surveillance
it's being
is
a little bit more proactive, right?
exactly. That's exactly right. Being proactive.
Mapping the spots, and then the county would come at their leisure, so to speak, right? Because they cannot come right at the same time.
Well, they usually it's between 6 and 8 in the morning is when we were doing it, and what I believe is the program for most counties to be doing it. And it also depends on what kind of a place it's. That's mostly for trucking places, warehouses, and things like that.
Okay.
But if you're looking at, convenience stores where there have been complaints in Franklin about convenience stores and idling, then that can be done anytime during the day.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think that we're up to the last item on the list is to open up the session again to the public and see it. Do we still have two people, Tara? Or
I believe, let me see. Yeah, same. So we have Eric Dutout again. Hi, Eric.
Hi. Yeah.
I moved to open.
Oh yeah, we need a motion first.
I move that we open the meeting to the public.
Yeah, I second. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Tara, ask her.
Okay, go ahead, Eric. You're on.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is the website is basically your like the front of the store in a way. It's the first contact with your customers. And one of the elements that you have there is like the farm stands list, and that's great. The problem is it's not up to date, so it loses a lot of its interest.
Okay.
Are
So
you
if there was a
working
way
in
for
a
you,
marketing business?
no, just exploring your website. That's
Yeah,
why.
but
It was
you have,
probably last updated for the last Sustainable Jersey certification.
Okay, yes, we can look at that for sure. Because that should be updated. You're right.
Well, there was a website subcommittee. It was me and Arnie and Robin.
Right.
We had been meeting with the town and we were sort of on hold because they were redoing the entire look and feel for the whole township. So a number of the pieces of our site that we wanted to update and streamline, make user friendly, did go on pause. So maybe that's something we need to.
and I think the member list is probably outdated.
Right. So
I think it was updated.
Was it?
Yeah, I think the new members were put on, but
Yeah.
I don't know if Easy's on the list.
The question I have is, Tara, do we need to work through you to get things updated, or are we able to work directly with Bob? And
You should work directly through me just because then they get everything they need from one. It's easier for them to collect all the feedback, I guess, from one point of contact. But yeah, if you have things and you want to send them to me, I'll make sure they get on. Or if you want me to just, as I see things that need to be updated, I can do that.
And they listen to Tara.
let's go back, with the sub then, and then we'll bring you whatever we want to change.
Stating the list of farm stands was best done in June, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
So Jessica, are you gonna have an active
what?
stand?
Farm stand.
We do have an active farm stand. We don't necessarily open every day because it's unnecessary. But we do have an active farm stand. We typically are open on Sundays during the season, not now. Lucky if I get 2 eggs a day now.
By the way, you
we
know
also
anything
have a leaser
about those
who uses our farm stand. She sells she actually leases land from us, and she has another location. She makes Homemade Betty is her name, and she makes all these wonderful
Homemade
products.
Betty.
Yeah, her lotion's great. I said it's not good for business, that you don't need very much, and she goes, yeah, I know, but she makes everything sustainably and by hand. She's really wonderful.
Yes.
That's not a township endorsement since we're being recorded.
Where's that stand located?
It's on the corner of Carroll Place and County Route 518.
Oh, on Route 18. Okay.
518, Paul.
518.
18, yeah.
Okay.
Any
You got
more
anything else,
questions?
Eric?
Yeah, Eric?
No, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
Bill Bowman still there?
Yes, hang on one sec. Hi, Bill.
How are you? I just, all I want to say is I passed the link to a few members. I did a story on December 10th about that letter, about the pH level. So if you're a daily reader of the Franklin Reporter, you would have had your questions answered. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. You said you put the link in the chat.
I sent you a link.
I see it.
And a couple other people.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll make sure I send it an email too in case anyone missed it.
Okey-doke.
Thank you. That's great.
Thanks, Bill.
Okey-doke.
Incidentally, I would imagine the reason why the letter came out so long after the actual problem
Violation, yeah.
was that they submitted the data to the DEP, and then 6 months later they heard from the DEP.
Yeah, that's very likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is all the members of the public.
Okay, we close the meeting. Motion to close the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Okay, so now we need a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Have a good week. 2
Good
weeks.
night.
Congratulations, Paul.
Night.
Great meeting your first meeting.
Thank you.
Paul.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night, Justin. Thank you. I'll talk to you.
There's more work than I thought there was. I'm not surprised.
It's just
Thanks so
beginning.
much, everyone. Have a
beginning.
good night.
I know.
Hey, Tara.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
meeting.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Tara.
Thank you.
Okay.